Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. If you're joining us live or catching the replay, welcome. I am so excited to be back for another Body Talks episode, and this is my vision for celebrating my book, Someone I Love Lives Here, which is available now for pre-order and comes out in less than 4 weeks from yesterday. Super exciting, and it's been a really amazing week with the book for me personally, because last week my husband read the book in 3 days, and then I gave my mom a copy on Saturday. She started reading it Sunday and finished it last night. So I guess I wrote a page turner, at least for my loved ones. They read through it pretty quickly, and it's like 316 pages. So, but I just want to say the conversation I had with my mom this morning, I'll be sharing more later on this at a different time, but it was just so beautiful. And I told my husband, like, that alone, this conversation I had with my mom about the book, and I'm sure we'll have many more, but that alone was just so tremendously beautiful, validating, healing, just such a cool experience. And that alone was worth every bit of effort and energy that has gone into this book. It's really, truly been so healing for me. And now to get to share it with the people I love most and to be able to discuss some of these things, it's just really incredibly beautiful. That's all I can say. And that is really the reason for doing these body talks too, is because I believe that hard conversations and talking about things that are often swept under the rug, I think it's so healing. I think it's so powerful. I think there is a lot of power in sharing our stories, both for ourselves, for our own healing, owning and accepting all parts of our stories, because they make us who we are, and we can learn so much from them. And I think being able to share it with others, it really shows others that they're not alone, and healing is possible. And I live for this stuff, and it's so cool to see again the way that this book is creating these conversations in my life. And I hope that as it continues to get on people's nightstands, get into people's hands. I'm so excited for you guys to have the opportunity to read it. And then I just have this vision of continuing to have these types of discussions and bringing these hard topics to light. So anyway, I will not keep rambling on that, because like I said, there's a lot more I want to share as far as what's coming up with, sharing my story with my family. A lot of healing happening there. So I'll be sharing more on that. But enough about all of that. I want to introduce you to our wonderful, wonderful guest today. I'm going to bring Andrea on, but let me tell you a little bit about her as we are getting ready to bring her on. She is a realtor here in the Milwaukee area. I actually know her through Boss Ladies Milwaukee, and she has been in the business for 4 years and loves every minute of it. Most recently, she was named an icon agent with eXp Realty, and an accolade that few agents are able to receive. And along with that, she was also named the 2021 Rising Star Real Estate Agent. So she's kind of a boss, you guys. She is also a wife, a mom, a best friend, and an advocate for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and the MS Foundation. And Andrea loves working out, trying new restaurants, strawberry milkshakes, and coffee all day, every day. So we have a lot in common. So I'm very, very excited to connect with Andrea today, and we'll have her join us. There we go. Perfect. How are you? Good morning.
I'm
Good afternoon.
well. How are you, hon?
I'm good. I'm doing great. I want to keep calling it morning, but now it's afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first off, hold on. I'm going to try to bring this up a little bit. There we go. First off, happy birthday. I know you celebrated
Thank
a
you.
birthday this weekend. How was
Thank
it?
you. It was a milestone birthday. It was a
Okay.
milestone birthday, but yeah, it was wonderful. My amazing husband put together a surprise trip to Nashville for me, which was totally in line with everything that I do. So it was great. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking because he didn't really give me much notice, and he basically just told me what to pack in my bag. So I had no idea what I was doing.
Wow, that's so fun. But I'm such a planner. Like, we're going to New Orleans in November, and I'm already like planning my outfit. So I'm like, That would be a little nerve-wracking, but exciting. And
Yeah.
especially I think after this past year of like a lot of monotony for a lot of us, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it was just really nice to get away, just, and I honestly didn't care what we did, but I was more focused on like, okay, do I have the right outfits? And he was like, let me see. And he made sure it was fine. So we're good.
Aw, yeah, a lot of trust there. Well, very cool. So I shared a little bit about you, but I'd love to just hear personally, professionally, anything you want to share. Tell us what you're all about.
Sure. I was born in Milwaukee, so I'm a Milwaukeean. And then probably around in the seventh grade, I moved to Oak Creek. And if people ask me where I'm from, I usually tell them I'm from Oak Creek because I did spend the majority of my life there. Um, yeah, like I said, I went to Oak Creek, graduated in 1999. And then I went into the world of business rather than going to college. Worked at every store possible, and then decided that I wanted to go into the beauty industry. So I worked for a manicurist for 13 plus years at one of Milwaukee's premier salon and spas, Neroli Salon and Spa. And while I was there, I went into real estate, and I haven't looked back since. And it's kind of, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm a mom to a 9-year-old. He just turned 9. He's a little fourth grader. I have a wonderful husband. Yeah, I mean, life is good.
Ah, I love that. And I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel like it just keeps getting better and better. And like you said, you just had a milestone birthday.
I
40.
did.
And yeah, for me, I'm 34 now, but I just feel like life keeps getting better and better. Like the older I get, the better it gets.
It
So,
does. They keep saying it gets better, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But it really does. It's pretty
mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. Well, I am excited because from knowing you, I actually don't know any of your backstory with the things we're going to dive into today. So I'm excited to hear it today as you share. So I'd love to go way back and looking kind of at the timeline of your life. I'd love to hear what your first memory is, your earliest memory of struggling with anything food, body image related or really feeling any sort of like pressure around your looks, your image, your body, any of that.
Well, I actually grew up as a child model. So I did a lot of modeling when I was younger and went into a little bit of my teens, and then again as an adult. So I wouldn't say that I like felt the pressure. Person. And I have a petite frame. I've always, been smaller than most people. And I always fit in like little kid sizes. And like looking back on that now, I think like, man, like I wore like little kids clothes but they liked that. And that was like one of the things that I got always casted for because I was small and that I could fit
Mhm.
into like younger kids clothes. So I mean, I would think that kind of started it all, but I can tell you high school is when it really all began for me. And I don't think it was a secret to many people that I struggled a lot with image in high school.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what that looked like for you, what that was like.
Um, Honestly, it was because I was smaller and, I didn't develop as fast as the rest of the girls did, height wise, I was tiny, I wore smaller clothes and, I just always looked like a little kid. And that was hard for me because, my friends were the cheerleaders who were beautiful, and they had more developed bodies than I did. And, you
Mhm.
know, and I was like awkward and, I wore like Harry Potter glasses. And for me, it just, that was like, it was a struggle for me. And, I always wanted the boys to like me. And um, I think the hardest hit was I had a boyfriend in high school who really kind of watched what I ate, watched, what my hair looked like, just really always trying to keep me in line to make me look perfect, and we would go out to eat and, order and he'd say like, you're not really going to eat that. Like, You know, it was just more like, you're ordering the food, it's going to be there, but like, you're not eating it. And I think I really, really, really struggled with that, but I allowed that to like continue, and I allowed somebody else to like control that. And because I didn't have that confidence, it was just easier for somebody to tell me like what I should look like and what I should be doing, and, you know, what I should be eating. And I really, that has something that has like really, I think, triggered everything that's happened, you know, in my adulthood.
Yeah, yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that. And unfortunately, I can totally relate. Not as early as high school. I'm even thinking, you know, like high schoolers in controlling relationships, like that's so young. That's crazy. And but in college, I dated a guy like that who would tell me, you know, what to order, that I should get a salad, or, you know, just a lot of that really kind of like picking apart what I'd be wearing and things like that. And like, as you said, you know, same for my experience, I kept attracting the same type of men and kept getting into relationships with them and allowing that kind of behavior to continue because of the place I was in with myself. And I think, you know, that can be a really hard cycle to get out of, you know, whether it's kind of the emotional mental abuse or something physical. I think, again, you know, you keep accepting it, and then the longer you stay, the more you just feel like it's normal or okay in some way. And so I'd love to hear more about, you know, as you got into your adulthood, what that looked like, and kind of getting toward the process of flipping the script, breaking the cycle, and getting into a different place.
Sure. You know, I mean, well, I guess I lied. I did try college for a little while. I did try college for a little while. And, you know, when they say that, you know, that freshman 15, mine was more like the freshman, like 20 or 25.
Same.
I'm pretty sure my parents didn't recognize me when I came home after a semester of being in school, because I had, you know, I drank and I ate, and, you know, it, then actually seeing that particular guy after we were broken up, it got even like worse for me, because it was like, I told you so, like I told you not to eat that, I told you not to, you know, do that, and it made it even worse. And I think it continued to like manifest itself in everything that I did. Then I became the opposite. Then I stopped eating. You know, I stopped eating and I became anorexic, and, you know, I throw up, I became bulimic, and it took the opposite approach to it then. Like, okay, fine, I'm not going to feed myself anything. And my goal was to be as skinny as possible. And I hate that word. I think that's such a horrible word. You know, that was my goal. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, if I stop eating, you know, then I'll be skinny and people will like me again. And, you know, and I just remember like times when I'd be with my friends and they'd be like, oh, what are you going to order? Oh, well, you know, I'll just take like, you know, just a couple of French fries, or I'll eat the burger without the bun, or, you know, just things like that. Or I would go an entire day eating a chocolate pudding snack pack, and that would be what I ate, or saltine crackers, you know, and it just was this vicious cycle. And it actually continued really into like my 20s. I met my ex-husband, and he was in a career that it really mattered what you looked like. And so, you know, for him, he was always at the gym, making sure that he looked really well. And obviously, being his sidekick, you know, I had to make sure that I was pretty and that I was thin and that I had, you know, beautiful hair and, you know, things like that. And he was older than me. And I think too, because I was so just down on myself, I was like, well, this older man loves me, you know, he wants to take me out, you know, and I struggled a lot with it. Like, I just stopped eating. I mean, I really did. And I got down to some pretty scary things, you know. I was told by the doctors, you know, because I had done all this damage to my body, that, like, you know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to have kids, because I had just destroyed everything in my body, you know, throughout all of this. And, you know, and I was fortunate enough, you know, to get pregnant, and I had my son. And I think, you know, that turned things around for me for a little while. And then I kind of went, you know, I gained an obscene amount of weight, right, with your kid, like, and you want to because you want your kid to be super healthy. But then after I like went back to like starving myself again because I was like, I gotta lose the baby weight, gotta look good again. And yeah, it just, I mean, it honestly, to this day still haunts me. I mean, it's a struggle. Anyone who has had to deal with any kind of body issues, no matter what, I mean, it creeps back every single day. And it's obviously a constant, battle that we all go through.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they can be dormant sometimes, where it's quieter, but I do feel like it's always there. And, if you have struggled with this stuff, especially to the point of having an eating disorder, I mean, I think, again, you can do a lot of healing, but it kind of is always there with you and can get triggered by things. So I'm curious when you said, wanting to lose the weight you gained in college, and that was really when the eating disorder started and wanting people to like you again. Did you get praise, or like, did people, compliment your weight loss? I'm just curious about that experience as you were, kind of moving further and further into this eating disorder and not taking care of yourself. Were people validating that for you, like how you looked?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, I mean, first off, I was getting more attention and people were
Mhm.
noticing, and I think too, for me, like the skinnier the better. I felt confident, and obviously, that attracted more people. But also then there were people who are like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I got it from both sides, like you're not going to eat, like of course you should be eating, and for me, the voices that were giving me the praise for losing weight and looking better were the ones that screamed louder to me, and they resonated with me better. And so
Mhm.
that's how I just continued on this like downward spiral
Mhm.
of, going. And I mean, and that's just how it continued. And I mean, and when I got married to my husband, to my ex-husband, I do have to say, because I had allowed myself to be controlled by so many people, it wasn't really him that was telling me these things. He
Mhm.
kind of just let me do my thing because he was like, no matter what I say, anyways, you're not going to listen. So, like, I just kept doing what I was going to do. And I'm like, I'm just going to be skinny and people are going to like me if I'm skinny. Um, but it was because people were giving me attention that just allowed me to keep going.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I completely relate. So, so then tell me a little bit about, I know you said having your son was actually, a period of time where you were focused on the health of your baby, but then afterwards feeling that pressure to lose the weight, which I hear a lot, unfortunately, like pretty much, I mean, I feel like society tells brand new moms, snap
Gotta
right
lose that
back.
baby weight right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
but I was talking on one of the earlier episodes of this, women's bodies are celebrated during the pregnancy. It's beautiful, and then as soon as the baby is born, again, it's like, oh, snap back. Let's make it look like you didn't just have a human, which is
Right.
really really sick. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you started moving into a healthier place, a happier place, some of your healing journey.
Sure. So, um, I mean, I really focused on making sure that I was there and, present for my son. And, obviously you have to live a healthy lifestyle in order to tell somebody else, right, that they have to live a healthy lifestyle. So I kind of, started to really embrace, whatever was going to happen. If I wasn't going to lose the weight, I wasn't going to lose the weight. Um, Although I did really try. But, unfortunately in 2015, I was in a severe car accident, and it really put me out. And when I say put me out, like meaning I was like bedridden. And that was really hard because I was in the midst of a divorce. And you know that you want to get that divorce body. So like I wasn't starving myself. I was actually really taking care of myself and like working out and like living my best life. And then I got in this car accident, which had to put everything to a halt. And that for me was really hard because it put me back into like that deep hole of not of knowing that I was going to be bedridden. I wasn't going to be able to do anything. Of course, I was going to gain weight. And, you know, during all of that, I was fortunate enough to meet my now husband. And he was my saving grace, because he kind of gave me a little tough love when I met him, because I was like, you know, I'm chubby, I'm sorry, like I just was in this accident, you know, of months of not being able to work out. And he was just like, stop, like you're beautiful, you know. And for me, it was just, I think he brought so much happiness to my life that it was really important that I made sure that I gave him my best self. And my best self was whoever God wanted me to be. And, you know, I found myself not being able to enjoy life when I was like trying to, you know, be so skinny and so pretty. And like, you know, I just felt like I didn't get to indulge and I didn't get to, you know, have a good time. But like with him, like it didn't matter to him. And I just felt my best self. And I honestly, he is my saving grace, because he will knock me back when I need to be knocked back. Yeah,
But
it's
but
amazing.
it sounds like in a really loving, you know, gentle, kind
Yeah.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that so much, and I completely relate to that as well, because my husband Scott, you know, is a very similar situation, and you said it so beautifully when you said, you know, the happiness that came from that and wanting to give him your best self. Like that was the experience for me as well. And at first, it was like I can remember when I met Scott, I was like, I was a little thicker than I wanted to be at the time. And I was like, man, all these like losers I dated before him got the better body, which I look back on now. And it was like, again, such a sick, twisted way of thinking. But very quickly, I recognized that like he truly loved me, all of me, 10 pounds up, 20 pounds up, 10 pounds down. Like he didn't care. And again, like wanted to enjoy life with me, and I wanted that too. So I completely relate to that being like a huge factor, a huge piece of healing is like when you do meet the right person, you know, and really again want to have this full life experience. I think it's easier to recognize like what doesn't matter when you see, okay,
Yeah,
like
I mean, and
what does
you know,
matter.
and as you know, and there's so much pressure from society, from social media, from everyone, you know. I mean, even having my salon background, like I felt that I always had to look perfect. Coming,
Mhm.
like you work in a salon, Andrea, like you have to be perfect. And I don't know. I mean, I guess once you can remove yourself from that and just start focusing on like living your best self and your best life, you know, it all comes back, and you know, it is what it is. And this is
Mhm.
obviously what God wanted me to look like. So, you know, here I am.
Yeah. Well, and I really think I'd love to hear if you feel this way too, but the more I move towards actually happiness, accepting myself, like truly loving all parts of myself and not, you know, when I talk about self-love, it's not like looking in the mirror and being like, I am flawless. I mean, that's amazing if people feel that way, like, and we all have our good and bad days, but it's like loving yourself no matter what, breakout or you know, feeling bloated or whatever, that has nothing to do with your ability to love and respect and care for yourself, you know? So, but I think the more that we do kind of that inner work and start to really live our fullest, best lives, like, I think that shows. I think that's so beautiful, you know, and I think people have a different quality to them, you know, like I look back at pictures of when I was my leanest, but I was so miserable at the time because the lifestyle I was living just to look that way was like horrible. I would never want to go back to that. And but I feel like that shows up too with people, you know, if you're very insecure and you know not loving yourself and doing all of these things to try to be thin, I feel like, you know, maybe we hit that goal weight, but it, you know, it's not, we don't have that glow, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the themes in my book is to burn the rule book and basically unsubscribe from anything, any old beliefs, any old BS that we picked up along the journey of our lives that is not serving us. Like we get to unsubscribe and rewrite the rules, make our own. So I'd love to hear. I know you had shared a couple times, you know, the belief that thinner is better, and that was for me very similar ongoing theme. But I'd love to hear if there's any like anything that stands out as far as a rule that you have burned or thrown away, and something you live by now instead that feels more empowering?
Yeah, I think we didn't have a scale in my house for a really long time because, when that would happen, I would constantly weigh myself. And I think, we constantly are like, oh, I lost however, X amount of pounds or whatever. It doesn't really matter. That number doesn't matter. And more or less it's, how I feel. And that's actually how I judge everything. I'm like, are these fitting good today? Okay, today's a good day, and sometimes they don't fit and it's okay because whatever. But, I think just throwing out that idea of like how much do you actually weigh, because that doesn't really matter. And I actually had something happen to me like 2 months ago when I went to the doctor. She didn't even say anything to me. She high-fived me and I was like, for what? And I didn't really know how to take it. And she said to me, I can tell that you are healthy. And I said, why? And she said, for the last 3 years, when I weigh you, you have never swayed from that number. And she said, congratulations, because your number is different. And I didn't know how to take that. And I was like, okay, so is she telling me I'm fat? Because that's right away where my head went. Like, she's telling me I'm fat. Like, but she said to me, I'm so proud of you because I know that you are no longer looking at that number, because she's like, I could tell that for the last couple of years, you've really been focusing on like, I can't weigh more. I can't weigh more. I can't weigh more. And you allowed yourself to do it. And I can tell just by everything, and that was really important to me, that she said that, because at first I took it so bad, but then I was like, okay, all right, I get it. Yes, I did. And yes, I am living my best life. So,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I completely agree. And it's just like the amount of time and energy we waste stressing about these numbers that like do not matter, and it's like has everything to do with how we're built to our bone structure, or, women can fluctuate so easily day to day depending on where we are in our cycle or what we eat or how we sleep. So many things that go into it. So it's just
that's something that men don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, and just, I mean, that was my every single morning for so many years. It was like, wake up, weigh myself. If it was the same, it was like not a great day. If it was up, oof. And if it was down, it was a good day. And it's just like, what a terrible thing to measure our worth by and to really let define how we feel about ourselves. It's like just crazy. And I think so many women get really stuck in that, cycle of being very obsessed with their weight, with the scale. It's just like, so I love that you shared too, just getting rid of it. Like, and I can also remember like the day I deleted my Fitness Pal and just like starting to like get rid of some of this stuff, like, because otherwise I think it's way too tempting. And it's like really knowing yourself too. Like if it's not serving you, if it's this daily thing that's making you feel bad, like throw it out,
Yeah.
we don't need to be doing that to ourselves. And
well, I think it almost becomes like a daily chore, and it's like almost like torture. Like, why are you torturing yourself?
Yeah.
So just to remove it, I think, is super important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Plus,
I'm all about that. If it doesn't serve you, get rid of it. I'm totally about assets and liabilities. Like, get rid of it if it's not serving you anymore.
Yeah. And it's like with everything in our environment, or even, people that we're around, it's like if people are making us feel terrible, or the scale is like that too. It's this thing that if it's making us feel terrible, like don't have it in your home, but don't have it in your environment. So I love that you shared that. I'd love to hear any other practices or anything that's really helped you, over the past couple of years to get to this place where you're feeling really happy, really living your best life. Anything you might do kind of day to day, week to week to take care of yourself, or just anything that's helped you in your healing journey.
Well, I think it all first starts with like your mindset, so just really kind of getting your head in a good place every day. I'm all about affirmations. It's actually my love language. And affirmations and touch. But I live my life by affirmations. So in the morning, I always am, reading something to start my day out. and kind of setting the tone for the day. And then throughout the day, and then I end my night with an affirmation and, hey, if the day sucked, it sucked, and tomorrow's a new day. But I think just, you know, having this milestone birthday, a couple of days ago, for me really actually, excuse me, actually gave me a new outlook. And that's so weird because I thought I had it all when I was 39. I was like, this is going to be the best year of my life. And like, turning 40 this year for me was like, this is going to be good. Like, this is going to be good. And I'm just going to embrace, whatever's thrown at me, whatever my body looks like, I think everything happens for a reason. So I think, every day it starts with my mindset of just, it's okay. Like what happens today. And, if my pants don't fit, so be it, and, but every day I try to get in a walk. It's for me, not just for the physicalness of it, but it's really just to clear my head.
Yeah.
And it really makes a difference. They say that, obviously movement really gets you going. And when you're feeling lethargic, you should move. And so I'm very adamant about getting in a walk, every day or every other day if I can't, but just having that time for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that. And I feel the same way about just with walking. I love doing it pretty much every day. I mean, I'm not super rigid about it, but and lately, actually the last couple weeks, I've been noticing more resistance come up because I'm like, I have so many things to do and like, my brain's all over the place, but I'm like, no, take your walk because it always feels so much better afterwards. And, also it sparks creativity or clarity. Like you said, clears your head. So I'm completely with you there on the movement, just for the mental and emotional benefits of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I also, one question that came to mind was with some of those amazing accolades that I mentioned in the beginning with your career and as a realtor, I feel like that requires a lot of, confidence and, putting yourself out there and, and especially doing it at a very high level, as I know you are. So is there anything that you've really learned from your career that's like helped you cultivate that confidence every day and kind of, like you said, keep moving, good day, bad day, like keep moving forward, keep that positive outlook? Anything that's been helpful that you've learned through your work?
I really, what really has helped is just like to be my authentic self. And I think I struggled with that when I first went into the business. Like, I always was like, oh, I have to wear a dress and I have to look the part and I have to, I have to, wear high heels every day. And, cause everybody's looking at me and obviously I am my brand. Right. Mm-hmm. But I've learned to let a little bit of that go. And because I realize I can't please everyone, and I'm a girl that has a bajillion tattoos. And for a long time, when I would go meet my clients, I would make sure that my arms were covered because I was afraid of what they would think of me. Mm-hmm. And I've let that go because then I've realized like those are not my people. And I think I've gained confidence of knowing like this is me, take it or leave it, mm-hmm. Love me or leave me. And I obviously, I make sure I always, put my best foot forward with my clients and even like on my social media and everything like that. I mean, they see it and, this is my brand, but I've really let go of just like caring about like what people thought of me, mm-hmm. Because I know I'm not for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really helped.
Yeah, I love that. That's so liberating. I feel like I'm really moving more and more into that space this year of like, also, I think it's helpful, like you're not for everyone. So every time, maybe if some people aren't attracted or, don't vibe with you, it's like, then you're closer to getting around the people who do. And yes. I think in any work that we're doing or just in life, it's like, we always want to be around people who we can be our full selves with. And yes, still putting our best foot forward. But like, I feel like I spent so many years trying like, being a chameleon for like, oh, what do people want? Let me be that for 15 minutes and then go into a different room and be something else. And like, it's exhausting, to like not be who you are and yeah, it's so liberating when you can be like, take it or leave it. Like, this is who I am. And, you know, I think it's so much better to be loved and accepted for who you truly are, you know, and even again, if it means some people fall away, I think that's a good thing too, because we
It
don't
is.
want
It just opens the door for other people or other things.
to. Exactly. Yeah. The right opportunities, the right people. So I love that you shared that so much. So before we go, I would love to hear, kind of thinking back to some of your younger years, when you were really in a low point, maybe struggling with the eating disorder, allowing yourself to be in relationships where you were settling for less than you deserve. If there is a woman watching this who is there today, what advice would you share with her?
Um, oh, that's a tough one. You know, because I always say that like I wouldn't be the woman I am right now if it wasn't for that. And I would say just hold on, and know your worth, because you know you're really the one who dictates, you know, what you're worth, and not anyone else. And I think, you know, obviously we allow our outsides to, you know, influence us so much, but I mean, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't, you know, lived through some of those things. But, you know, my goal obviously is to not have people have to live through that. So find your voice, be your own advocate, and definitely, you know your worth, because you're worth a lot.
So beautiful. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Andrea. This is awesome, and just so happy to have you here today and to connect with you on a deeper level today as well. It's just been awesome. So thank you so much for sharing your time, your energy, your wisdom with us. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was absolutely wonderful, and I'm honored to have been a part of this.
Thank you, and I will see you very soon. And
Right.
everyone who's tuned in, thank you guys for watching. Would love to hear in the comments any favorite takeaways, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.